Hi guys, in this video, I'm going to be showing you the general tracking features of the app. So you're going to spend 95% of your time in this part, the nutrition part. So we're going to go over the basics. Now with this, it's going to take some time. It's going to be the type of thing where it's a skill, right? You're going to be overwhelmed at first. I see a lot of numbers and I see a lot of sections and some plus signs and some dots, and I'm overwhelmed. I get that. But stay tuned for this video, and then you're gonna have to do some playing around on your own. Make sure every button is explored on your end so that you can really see which features are going to help you the most to make this process as easy as possible. Like I said, it's a skill. I could track my food in literally 30 seconds, but when I first started, it probably took me several minutes and then my food was cold and I was frustrated. But it's just for a time. Once you learn it, you'll be set. Okay, without further ado, your nutrition page at the top, it's going to be a summary of the goal of calories that you have. Everybody's numbers are different. So even though you see mine for an example, do not copy them. It has your specific ones for a reason. You have a goal for calories, protein, carbs, fats, and then it shows you based on what you've already eaten today, how much you have left. Then moving on to fiber, this will calculate automatically based on the food that you input. Water, you can go ahead and add this yourself if you like the interactive features of the app. So if you have, like, I have a Hydro Flask, and then when I drink it, when I finish my whole flask, I'll put the 32 ounces. And then I can do that throughout the day if I want. So the main important part and what you're going to use the most is these little meal sections. You can press the blue plus sign in each meal to add food to that meal. Don't get super hung up on the 6 meals, like you have to eat 6 times a day, or if you have snacks throughout the day at different times, you can only eat at 6 points in the day. Like, just add your food wherever. If you want to group it together and see which each meal gets you when it comes to your goals, that's when you might want to use the actual meal features. So let's pretend we're having breakfast. You press the blue plus sign, and then you have 3 options. You can plain add food, or you can do quick add calories, or copy yesterday's meal. You're most likely going to do add food. From here, if you have the carton of eggs in your hand or you have your milk container with the barcode, this blue thing to the right of the search bar that looks like a barcode, that is going to it's going to save you so much time. Press that barcode and scan your barcode. Most often, more times than not, your nutrition information will pop up for that food item. I'm on my laptop and it doesn't work on your laptop because I don't have like a front facing or whatever camera this is. I don't know if it's front or back facing. I can't think of it right now. But anyways, that's how you scan with the barcode. Next up, I would suggest searching up the exact item. So if I am going to have, let me think, Wegmans eggs, I can type it up, and then the catalog of food that has been input and saved in the app will pop up. So I typically get their pasture raised eggs. So then I could find the ones that I have, press it, and then I can I can adjust the amount consumed. So I have usually 2 to 3 eggs. So let's say I had 3 eggs today. Save. Okay. Say next up, I want some bread with my eggs. Dave's filler bread. You can always type it up and you can look through the catalog to see if it's the exact one. When you are going through, do not just assume whichever one is most like your product name is the correct one. If I have my packet of bread with me, I'm going to look at the nutrition label. I'm going to see that it says, 60 calories per slice, and then I know it's the top one, the thin sliced one. If it says 110 calories per slice, then I might look, okay, it's the white bread. Let's pretend I had 2 slices of the thin sliced. So press it, change the amount consumed to 2. Great. Then let's talk about butter. You always have to add your cooking oils, butters, whatever. This is something I usually just do, like the generic butter, and then I'll add 1 tablespoon, which, yes, it has 100 calories. So for the same amount of bread, just for a little bit of butter that you put on the pan, the calories add up because butter is fat, and fat is very calorically dense. Anyways, that's a little sidebar. Say this is what I eat every single day. Let's just pretend. Let's add some egg whites first, because you guys should be having egg whites if you're someone that likes eggs. Because, and then, oh, perfect. This gives us another thing to talk about. So, one large egg white. What does that even mean? I never understand when people say that. Like an egg white, they usually come in a carton. If you press this scale down, you can change the unit that it's measured by. So I always like to go by grams. I told you all to get a food scale. A food scale is going to be flat like this. You're going to put your plate on it, and then you're going to pour your food so you can measure the amount. So I always like to do grams because it's the most precise. You can do grams, and let's say I had 100 grams of egg whites. That is going to give you an extra 10 grams of protein. Wonderful for only 50 calories. So let's say that this is a pretty staple breakfast, or maybe I'm just eating this for breakfast every day this week because I bought it from the store. What I can do is I press these three gray dots in the top right, and then there's three more options, but I'm going to do save as a meal. And then I'm going to title my meal breakfast week 127. Okay, so breakfast week of 127. Then let's pretend I actually don't have it tomorrow. Let's say Tuesday pops up. I can press the plus sign, add food, and instead of searching each item individually, I can search breakfast 127. Oh shoot, I did week 127. Breakfast week 127. You just have to remember the name. But I can press it and then the whole thing pops up. Super easy and saves you a lot of time. Okay, let me go back to today's example. You can also copy the meal to tomorrow. So let's pretend I made double. So I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna cook my breakfast for today, and I'm also gonna cook it for tomorrow, and I'm gonna put half of it in the fridge, save it for tomorrow, and half of it I'm gonna eat now. I could go copy meal, and it's going to pop up the week, and then I could go, okay, I'm gonna copy it to Monday, meal one, save, and then we go to Monday. It is under meal one. Magic, right? Okay, other features of this three dots, copy to recipe builder. This would be something more along the lines if you were making a casserole or soup or a big batch of pancakes and you're going to calculate everything in the whole bowl of whatever you're eating. And then you can divide it by the amount of servings. So if I make a whole pot of soup and I know it's going to serve 10 people, I could put in everything I put in the soup and then you go 10. Whoa, told you the computer is a little goofy. You do 10, and then it will divide the calories based on serving size. So that is the recipe builder, which is super helpful if you ever do make big batch or cook in bulk or cook for your family or whatever. Okay, let's go down to meal two. Let's explore these other plus sign options. If you press the blue plus sign, we already went through add food. You can also quick add calories or macros. This is going to be something good for, say, you're out and about. A restaurant that comes to mind is like Tropical Smoothie, Chipotle. Those are places that if you look up online, their menu, or if you go online and search up Chipotle macro calculator or Chipotle calorie calculator, if you put in your Chipotle bowl, or if you look up the Tropical Smoothie menu, it will say, okay, in this smoothie or in this bowl, there are this many protein, carbs, fats. But instead of, I get a million things in my Chipotle bowl. I'm not going to sit there necessarily. I mean, I could, but I don't want to sit there and put in corn, cheese, meat, whatever. You could just go onto the website's macro calculator and it's going to spit out like, oh, based on your answers, generally in your bowl is going to be this many calories. So if that's the case, you would just verbatim copy what the website says. So you go protein. And a really cool feature of this app is if you don't have to put in calories, if you put in protein, carbs, fats, and fiber, it will immediately calculate your calories. So protein, let's say your Chipotle bowl has 170 grams of carbs. Wow, that would be a lot, but let's just pretend. And then let's say 10 grams of fat. I mean, this is actually could be realistic, depending what you get for Chipotle. But you can just quick add it. It's not going to save anywhere when it comes to like being able to find it again, but it does show up as quick add. If you didn't see what I just did, if you messed up something, you want to delete it, you can swipe left and delete the item from what you just tracked. Okay. Another valuable thing is to copy yesterday's meal. So if it is dinner time or dessert time and you're like, oh, I'm just gonna have exactly what I had last night, you can just copy yesterday's meal. I didn't track yesterday, so nothing's gonna pop up. But if you had a meal yesterday, it'll just copy it right onto today in the same meal number. So whatever you ate in meal 5, it will copy that over. Okay, my favorite feature of this nutrition tracking we're about to go over. If you are someone who I mean, everyone, you shop for the week and you're going to pretty much eat the same breakfast or the same snacks throughout the week, in order for you to not have to go back and forth and copy this meal to that meal and copy this snack or this meal, if you look in the top left corner, you can copy your entire day. So you can copy every meal from meal 1 to meal 6. You can copy your entire day to any day that you want. So if you're like, okay, this day was great, I'm gonna have this food that I had on Sunday, I'm gonna have it on Friday. I don't know. You can just copy the whole thing to Friday. And then when Friday comes around, theoretically, if we had food filled in for each meal, all of the food in the meal is going to show up. And then from there, you can just adjust. So pretend you had 2 eggs instead of 3. You can press on the eggs and adjust for this meal on Friday without adjusting for for Sundays. Okay. Those are the main things that are going to get you set up when it comes to app features of tracking. I'm going to make another series of videos on like not sharing my screen when it's actually me in the kitchen showing you how to track things when it comes to the food scale and how to look at food labels. Excuse me. Some things get a little bit complicated when it's not itemized. So if you have eggs, most of the time you're not splitting eggs up. You're just going to have 1 egg. So whatever the food label says, it's pretty easy. You just go, okay, I'm taking out 2 eggs. I do the food label. The food label says each serving size is 1 egg. I have 2 servings. Now, if you have ground beef and the serving size is 4 ounces, well, you still have to take your whole pan of ground beef and you're going to have to measure that out so that it shows accurately on the app, on the scale, and on your plate. That's a whole nother realm of nutrition tracking that you're going to have to kind of learn. That's where the real skill comes in. The app is very easy to navigate. It's very easy to find things. However, the actual tracking to making sure that it is accurate, because if we're tracking inaccurate, it's not super conducive to our goals when it comes to meeting our goals on time. So that will show up in other videos, but otherwise this just goes over all of the general features when it comes to the actual tracking piece of it. Something I did forget is the supplement part. So the supplements that I generally take are omega-3s, magnesium. Microfactor is First Form's micronutrient pack. Then I usually take creatine, and then I like to take greens occasionally. So to keep myself accountable, and this is gonna be something that I actually do dial in for the 8 weeks, is my supplements, because sometimes I get lazy on them. You can just plus check them off. So it's a little bit interactive. You do not have to be taking First Form supplements to check these off. If you wanted to add new, you can add any type of, let's just pretend I do omega-3. Yeah, you have a basic omega-3s. It doesn't have to be First Form's version. All right, guys. I think there's anything else I want to go by. Oh, let's just revisit the top here. So I put in food. Let's go back to our goal, what we have left. At the top, it's going to show, so the numbers adjust as you add food to your food journal. The top is what you've currently eaten for the day. So based on this breakfast, I've had 380 calories, 20 grams of protein, 28 carbs, 24 fats. Well, let's just do a sidebar. Without the egg whites, I deleted the egg whites. This is not really a high protein breakfast. It's more of a high fat and high carb breakfast because carbs and fats are currently outweighing the protein. When we add the egg whites, if you remember, the egg whites had 10 grams of protein, then it would be 30 grams of protein. So there's more protein than carbs and fats. So that's a little bit better when it comes to high protein meal. That's just my sidebar. Even though you might feel like, oh, this is a solid breakfast, I'm having 3 eggs. Well, oh, I guess I have 2 eggs. I'm having 2 eggs. Wow. If you don't have the egg whites in there, They're not as high protein. Anyways, sidebar done. Then you have your goal, and then underneath you have left. So sometimes what I like to look at is like throughout my day, I like to try and play around like a little math equation. Um, oh, and I'm just thinking about more stuff we got to talk about. We need to talk about how to pre-track your day. So if I know that I'm going out with friends, or if I know that I really want to hit my goals today, and I don't want to just kind of like guess and hope that I get there, what I would suggest is pre-tracking your day. So if I know that I have 1,600 calories in order to get 125 grams protein, I'm going to want to probably prioritize protein first. So I'm going to put in my breakfast, and this is where you can kind of play around with it as a um math equation. So I put in my breakfast. I'm going to put in a little protein shake. I drink Formula One, my first form. Let's say I have the peanut butter flavor. That's my favorite, the best one. Okay, let's say that for lunch, I'm going to have, let's see, think. Chicken breast. Chicken breast is another thing that you're going to have to get a pretty close based on brand. Let's say I have Trader Joe's organic chicken breast. And let's say I have 4 ounces. I'm going to put that in. Let's pretend I have it with potatoes. Grams. Let's go 100 grams of potatoes. And then let's pretend I have green beans. Sounds like a fire lunch. Love it. And let's put 100 grams of green beans as well. You can slowly start to see, okay, for dinner and dessert, I have about 800 calories left. I need to get 80. Oh, I lied. Yeah, I have 860 grams of frick. My brain right now, you guys. I have 860 grams, 860 calories of food left. And then I also have 46 grams of protein left. Always prioritizing protein and calories. Carbs and fats, they can be dispersed based on your preferences. I'm going to want to have some ice cream for dessert. Let's start there. So let's say cookies and cream is my favorite. Let's do cookies and cream, ice cream. Let's put in a cup of ice cream. So if you look at that, it's going to be 330 calories. This is why pre-tracking is important because you can fit in things that you enjoy. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to assume that I'm going to have protein. I'm going to have ice cream later tonight. So I track that in, and then I go back and I see, okay, I need to get 41 grams of protein and I have 500 calories left. Okay, then you can rack your brain. Like, what can I have that's high protein, low calorie? That's going to be something along the lines of a lean meat and then vegetables. For my lean meat, I'm going to do ground beef. So let's do 93.7 ground beef, Wegmans. I love that. And I'm going to put in 6 ounces of it. So let's say I'm going to do 6 ounces of ground beef for dinner. Okay, that already got me to hit my protein goal. And then let's say I'm going to do it with rice. I love jasmine rice. And let's say I have 300 calories left. So I'm going to do a half a cup of rice, which is going to be 100 calories. And then I'm going to put in some vegetables. So let's do broccoli. So it's a great dinner. Broccoli, rice, and beef. And then let's say we do grams. And let's say we have 100 grams of broccoli. So as you can see, now, if we go back up to the top, I have 170 calories left. I have done my protein check. I went a little bit over on carbs, but I'm under on fats, so that's fine. This is what I would say pre-tracking your day is. So I'm like, okay, I have a little bit of wiggle room. I still have 170 calories. This is what I'm planning on eating today. So this is still the morning time. We're thinking we are planning to eat this today, but say for some reason you're like, dang it, I forgot to bring my chicken breast to work. And now I don't have chicken breast for work. No worries. You're going to keep the rest of your day planned. It's just a general outline, and then you can adjust. And maybe you then order something for lunch. You can see what you're going to have to work with in order to still have your dinner and have your dessert. That is just what I mean when I say pre-track your day. You don't have to just plug in the app based on what you actually eat. You can try and do it ahead of time. And then also, if you say have food containers, you meal prep your food, you don't even have to track it. You know what you're eating. You don't even have to pull out your phone. You already have it pre-tracked. You just pull out your container and you eat your pre-tracked and pre-prepped food. Now, this video was a lot, I know. But like I said, we're gonna spend 95% of our time in the nutrition portion of the app. So we're gonna have to know the ins and outs. If you stay for this whole video, thank you for watching. And if you have questions on more detailed things, feel free to let me know in the comments or message me or email me.